Hey kids, welcome to the mess and happy Sunday morning. I was trying to get this out last night, but yeah, didn't happen. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about, you hear a lot of people talking about, check that shit out, water. That doesn't happen often, but it's like fucking 9 o'clock in the morning. And Mama gets mad at me if I drink before then. So anyway, I wanted to do a video on antennas, but not antennas for your quad. Antennas for your goggles, okay? This is a little bit of antenna theory, and just so you can make your own decisions on what you want to use on your goggles, because you see a lot of people doing videos on this antenna is best for your quad, this antenna is best for your quad, but you don't see a lot of people doing it specifically for goggles. A lot of it is relative to your flying style. Are you racing? Are you doing freestyle? Things like that. So I wanted to go over some various types of antennas that we're going to talk about real quick. And this isn't going to be a real long video, but it will help you make maybe a better decision on what to put on your goggles. Now, hang on a second. Sorry about that. These are my mains now. These are the Aomway Commanders, as you guys probably know. Stickered up, of course. And then my Bosscam GS922s, which I absolutely love. I love these goggles. These were my main goggles until I got these, and my backup goggles were my Fat Shark, what the fuck were those? Attitudes, which I still need to sell. I keep forgetting I even got the damn thing. So anyway, yeah, so both of these are true diversity. If you, and I'm not going to go into goggles, but if you have goggles, try to get diversity. This video is primarily based towards diversity, but even if you're running single, this might still be beneficial to you. So let's go over some types real quick. The first type everybody knows about is your skew planar or your clover leaf. This is what most of us use or used in the past in my case. This is a 4-leaf. 4-leaf is going to give you a little bit better resolution than a 3-leaf. 4-leaf is better in most cases on your goggles, whereas a 3-leaf is better on your quad, but honestly, you can run, it doesn't matter. You got right hand and left hand. Everything I do is right hand. Right hand and left hand do not play well together. That's a whole nother theory. We're not going to talk about that right now. So make sure when you're ordering anything, it's right hand or all left hand, depending on what you're doing. So skew planar or cloverleaf antenna, bam. And then you've got your patch antenna. Bam. Then you've got your helical antenna. Bam. And we're going to talk about all these in a minute. Then you've got your triple feed patch. Bam. And your pagoda. Bleh, awesome. That's just sex on a stick, right? Another pagoda. Rubber ducky or linear polarized antenna. Another patch. Same thing as, well, it's not the same thing at all, but same principle as this. And your typical, that's just another cloverleaf. I just threw a bunch of them out here. So, these are my opinions. This is subjective, it always is, right? I think absolutely no matter what. Let's start out with the cloverleaf versus the pagoda. Okay, which one is better and why? Cloverleafs are great. Everybody uses these. You guys see these all over the place. Pagodas, same principle. Right hand and left hand. And this one, Farview, is actually the branded copy or branded version. The guy who invented these, that's why I use Farview. Best fucking antenna. That's my opinion. Bar none. Okay. I buy these for $6 a piece. Now I make them myself. They come in like a little kit. Hang on. This is what the kit looks like. Yeah, they're really easy to make. I did do a build video on these. I might do another one to make it a little bit better. But anyway, best antennas you can buy. I mean, these things are just bam. I'm going to tell you why what the difference is. First problem you have with one of these is if you bend these wires like that, bam, look at that. Your tuning goes out of phase, okay? And you can get snow, you can get all these other issues, whatever else. The other issue that you have is your antenna bit right here, your coax, will actually act like a linear polarized antenna to a point, and you'll get cross-feeding. Cross-phasing, we call that, okay? So these are really fragile, believe it or not. and you will get linear polarized cross-phasing through this. The nice thing about these, now these don't necessarily give you more range than this, okay? But what these will do, these stay in tune. So that's a printed circuit board, and you can see right there that these are circuit boards. They're not physical wires like this. In my build video, you see I put schmutz in between the discs, because if these discs do go sideways or get squished in a crash, which they will go out of tune. So you really want to put some schmutz in there, usually silicone. I actually found a new silicone, as you can see. Here's one of my older ones with clear silicone in it. Looks pretty good. This one shrinks a lot better. It's like a silicone adhesive, so it actually gives you a little bit less weight. But yeah, not much, But these things weigh absolutely nothing. I've never actually weighed them. Doesn't really matter. This one's going to give you better reception. What you've got, and better area coverage. I will absolutely never go back to these. I have a drawer full of these fucking things. I'll never use. I use them on testing. Like if I don't have enough of these in stock, like meaning I literally buy, if I run out of antennas in my drawer, I will literally buy 5 or 6 kits and just have them on hand. That's how much I like these antennas. These, like I said, little bit susceptible to damage. If you remember, like on Poor Boy, I will take a clover leaf and I will actually put silicone in here, and that keeps it from getting crunched up. Keeps you in tune. But again, this is about goggles, not necessarily quads. So you can use this on your goggle, be perfectly fine. These are going to give you a little bit clearer reception. Distance-wise, I don't think there's a huge range difference. Maybe there is. I've never really tested it. But these are just the cat's ass. So what I do is I stick one of these on my diversity. Bam, just like that. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. It's your choice. I mean, everything's your choice. But whether you go this or this on your goggles, I use these just because I'm a Farview fanatic. Everything I run is Farview, bar none, everything. But these do work well on your goggles. There's a misconception about these rubber duckies, which are dipole linear antennas. Now, here's how this works, and I've talked about this in other antenna videos. When you have an omnidirectional or a low-gain antenna, this is a low-gain antenna, this is a high-gain antenna. When you have a low-gain antenna that's omnidirectional like this, you're getting coverage that's going out like a ball. Bam, okay, like a donut, if you will. When you have a linear polarized, it's shooting straight out from the sides. There's nothing coming out of the top, nothing coming out of the bottom. It's straight out from the sides. Whereas these Aura Pagoda are omnidirectional. Low gain, high gain, unidirectional, omnidirectional. So the misconception is that if you have 2 of these, and I don't have a second one on me, we'll just use this piece of heat shrink here. Pretend that's an antenna. If these actually have farther range than these or these, people think they don't, which is really kind of funny. These have farther range. However, they have to be on a parallel plane. When you go like this, that's when bad shit happens, because when you're like this, you're at full gain. All right, so you're getting your full potential of your antennas transmit and receive. You go like that, now you're only getting that intersection of reception. That is why people don't use these for freestyle. But in all honesty, if you're running a track and you're not flipping around a whole lot, you might get better reception with a linear dipole, or better range for sure. Now, not on goggles. Don't use them on goggles fucking ever. Trust me on that. That's from a transmitting perspective. Your goggles are receiving, not transmitting. So that's why I do run on every single micro brushless I build a linear dipole antenna. I do not run cloverleafs. And you don't run pagodas because there's really no way to make them smaller or lighter. Really, I mean, the only way to make this lighter is to physically cut it down a little bit. But I have zero, I can go far as shit on a little 25 milliwatt, sorry about that, 25 milliwatt trans. I can go damn far with a linear polarized antenna, yes, but when I flip, I get a little PBS after midnight, you know, a little snow and shit like that. But don't put these on your goggles. Seriously, bam, get rid of that shit. So back to the diversity. So with these, one of the reasons this is better and I wanted to harp on this just a little bit. The reason these give you better clarity, one, they always stay in tune, especially if you make my Oreo cookie idea. They always stay in tune, but what this disc does is this is a shield, what I would call a crossphase shield. I told you a second ago that this is an omnidirectional low gain lobe, if you will. This actually will have a residual linear polarized effect. This will actually act a little bit like a rubber ducky to a point. And that can actually give you phase cancellation and give you a snowier picture. This third disc on the Pagoda actually blocks, not totally, but a lot more than not having it, blocks that linear polarized phase cancellation. That's why you get a better picture with these versus these. Bam. Okay, so we've established that. Pagodas are just better, kids. $6. Fucking buy them. These will blow an Aomway. You know, a lot of people use, and I've got one around here somewhere, an Aomway cloverleaf that everybody raves about, whatever. Fuck that. These things, forget about it. Get your Oreo cookie, kids. Awesome. Anyway, Farvew, and that is Farvew. Okay, that's where I order mine from, and they're awesome. So anyhow, back to the point. Now, what do you use for the other diversity? Diversity is going to basically real diversity is going to electronically switch between which receiver is getting the better signal. Okay, so usually what you want to do is put an omnidirectional on one side, does not matter which, usually, and a unidirectional or a high gain on the other side. Bam, okay? Because what's going to happen is if you take a high gain antenna, this is a really good patch, the Menace Invader, right-hand circular. Now there is a polarization of these too, so make sure you're paying attention. This is a right-hand circular polarized as well. This thing can get into fucking outer space, kids. This thing's bad to the bone. So if we stick this onto our goggles as well, and you should have this so you can angle it. And this one's kind of a pig fucker to get on there. But anyway, see, I cuss just as much when I'm not drinking. All right, but anyway, when you're flying directly out in front of you, and this should have a little coax on it, extension, so you can angle it better. Ignore that, I don't use this patch, but when you're flying in front of you, you can go out like miles. You can go out really, really far. But as soon as you go behind you, this loses its ass, and this one's going to pick up if you're close enough. This one's going to have far greater range than this one because of the decibel levels. Now, decibel levels, that's really important to remember. People think the higher the decibel level, oh, I'm going to go out and get a 15 decibel antenna and I can go to the fucking moon. No, because the higher the decibel level, the tighter that gain or that bandwidth is. So let's say you have a 15 decibel patch antenna, that spread's going to be like this. So let's pretend this Farvew is your quadcopter. If you're flying, you have a really high decibel patch, you're flying right in front of it, man, you can go out to fucking Pluto, right? But as soon as you get skewed and you start flying off to the left or the right, which we all do, bam, your signal goes a bag ass, right? So you need to stay right in front of it. You have a lower gain, say a 5 decibel, you're now like this. That's important to remember. Think about your envelope. Those of us that are flying quads, freestyle, or just fucking around like I do not race or do tracks. So I want something like this. Now, the drawback to that, there's always give and take, is if you have lower decibels, yes, you have a greater spread, but you can't go as far because you're basically squeezing that range. So the higher the decibel, bam, you're pointing that thing out and you're, you know, totally targeting that RF straight out, radio frequency. And lower decibel, you're getting more of a spread. Now, with a mini quad, I'm sorry, I just broke my own rule. With a standard size quad, I don't fly super far away. I'm not looking to get 2 miles out with a quad. A drone, yes, because that's why I like to fly about drones. I like to go high and far. That's why I like drones. And with quads and micro brushless quads, I like to be in proximity. You know, half a mile away would be the farthest I would normally go, which hell, that'll do that. I don't even need a patch for that. But anyway, you get the idea. So the higher the decibel, the more concentrated. So I usually like to stay within like a 5, something like that. And patches are really, really, really good for that. So if you're in front of you, and now think about something here too. You're not fixed. This thing's on your fucking head. And if you're like a Bardwell and have a bobblehead, that's really fucking handy. You're like, wah, orbiting. But so if that's your quad still, and you're like this, and you get a little fuzzy, move your head. you know, if you can keep that going. So that's why you use a patch. There are good patches, just like anything else. You kind of get what you pay for. There's good patches and bad. This is a great patch. A lot of guys use this, like high-profile flyers I've seen that use this. And I've used it before, and it works phenomenal. This is not a good patch. Okay, this is a 4-point patch. It's an Ayamwe, which is, you know, they make good stuff. I mean, look at that thing. Yeah, not my favorite. I didn't think it worked that great. I'll probably cut this off and use it for something. I don't know. It came with, I think it might have came with these. I can't remember. But anyway, then, so this is a really good one. Farview triple feed patch. This is brand new on the market for the most part. Triple feed patch. This one, I did a range test. I didn't do a video of it because I didn't do it really scientifically. And I know if you're going to do a range test of a video or of an antenna, you should really do a little bit more scientific. And I can't be bothered with that, guys. I like to go out and fly it in a real world condition and come back to you and say, yes, it's awesome, or no, it sucks. I'm not going to get out spectrum analyzers and shit like that. So, what I was thinking, okay, this is a Farview, and Farview is my coveted antenna, and I actually had this on pre-order. I was one of the first people to really get this from the production side, and I was so excited. You can go left hand or right hand circular polarized. You have a terminating resistor here, or a load resistor. I fly right hand circular polarized. Bam. Honestly, between the two, cost is about the same. This one and this one, I think range-wise did better. Vertically, this one did better. This one has a better scope coverage this way than this one. Not by a hell of a lot, though. I went up, I'm not fibbing to you here, I went up 2,000 feet. No, was it higher than that? Might have been higher than that. Shit. The DVR didn't make it. For some reason, I didn't have it recording. But anyway, I had EWAD, one of my drones, and I went up vertically 2,000 feet, and I had, which is way beyond probably this vertically, because these things have a hole in the top. If you fly directly over yourself, there's a hole in the frequency range. Whereas this, I think I had it at about an angle like that, not straight up, just kind of little, maybe like that, 20 degree. And I went up 2,000 feet or so, and it was as clear as a frickin' bell, whereas this one starts getting a little bit fuzzy. But that's not a distance issue necessarily, but a omnidirectional. Does that make sense? So yeah, not many people are flying. You shouldn't fly 2,000 feet. That's illegal, supposedly. But yeah, so which one's better? This one looks a little funky on your head, you know, but this one, this is tried and true. A lot of guys use this. I like the Farview just probably because it's Farview, to be honest with you. And it's already got my little angled doohickey on there. I use this one on my backups. I put a little extension on it. So that's that. The next one I want to talk about is this guy. All right, this is a 5, well, it's supposed to be a 5-turn. I think I cut it down to a 4. This is a 4-turn helical antenna. Again, Farview, and this was a kit. Okay, now the thing about helical antennas, I call them helical. Helical, I think, is the right way to say this. And this is a kit. I can't remember what I paid for it. I'll put a link in the description. This is going to the fucking moon and back. Okay, basically what you're doing with this, think of it almost like a satellite dish. You're getting any reflection of that signal is bouncing off this copper base and going into your coils. Every wrap around these gives you more, I'm sorry, fucking, this is why I shouldn't do videos this early in the fucking morning, right? Decibel level, sorry. So the more wraps you have, like if you buy a 12 turn, this is technically, I think, a 4. It looks like 3, but you've got that big going all the way down, and it might even be a 5. But anyway, the more turns you have, the higher the decibel gain. So it's gonna be like, bam! This is a very high gain antenna, okay? But you can literally go out miles with a helical antenna. Most people do not put these on their goggles because they're so directional. This one, however, and I bought this, and Farview makes a bunch of different turns. They go out like to, they may be 12, I'm not even sure. I bought the lowest one they make because I wanted it for my goggles. This thing actually acts better, I think, in most cases, than a patch. But I got this primarily for my drones. So, and look at that shit, kids. That'll get you laid right there. Look at that thing. That's like wearing a fucking satellite dish from the 80s on your head. Bam! Look at that. That's bad. I don't care who you are. For those of us that are true and tried nerds, yeah, I'd wear this to prom if I was a kid. That's just fucking cool. But yeah, look at that thing. That's fucking cool. But anyway, I did make this from a kit just the other day and haven't even really gave it a real test yet. But this one, because it's got a wider bandwidth, because it's only a few turns, is actually going to give me more projection out than a patch and hopefully just as much radial as a patch. So what do I recommend? And you've seen this before, and this is just an overview to help you understand how these antennas work a little bit. Definitely get a patch and an Omni, no matter what, on your goggles. I've seen guys do this, where they take two Omnis, one at one angle, one at the other. That is completely useless. The only thing you're going to cure by doing that, if you look at how an omnidirectional, like a cloverleaf or a pagoda work, they have this big circumference sketch. But then there's kind of like this donut effect, and there's a hole in the top and a hole in the bottom. If you fly directly over your head, think of it coming out like a water fountain. If you go directly over your head, you have a little bit of a hole, and you'll see a little bit of snow. It happens to me all the time. I'll fly overhead, and bam, I get this little psst, and it goes away. It's no big deal. But if you do that, you get away. You kill those holes, but you don't gain any distance. Okay? If you put a patch on, like so, you will gain a fuck ton of distance. And as soon as you get out of range, like if you're flying in front of you, and you lose distance on this one, or your reception's not as strong, your RSSI, basically what's happening is your signal's coming into your receiver, it's transmitting it to converting it to an electrical signal, which is RSSI. If that RSSI voltage is higher on one than the other, it automatically switches. That's how that works, okay? So as soon as you get too far away and this one gets snowy, bam, that one's gonna pick up. But if you go up too high or off to the side, you're out of that plane, then that one's going to pick up, or it's just going to go to shit. But if you put on one of these nightmares, you can really get some range. So I'm going to do some tests with this, because I know it's going to go far out. That's not, I can reach Pennsylvania with that motherfucker. I'm not worried about that. What I want to know is how good is my global effect or my omnidirectional effect, because my idea is that since I got lower turns on it, I might even be able to shit can this and just wear this really cool looking phallic antenna on my goggles all the time. I will definitely use this for my drones, because usually with my drones, I am flying out in front of me and up. Usually. I don't get real adventurous with that. And like with EWAD, my extreme weather aerial drone, when he's flying in snow and things like that, water kills FPV transmission like that. So hopefully, with my drones, I'm definitely going to be using this thing, and I want to do some altitude tests and just see how high I can really get with it. So that's what I recommend. At the end of the day, get a pagoda and a patch, a decent patch. Don't buy a $3 fucking patch or a 9, 10, 12 decibel patch, okay? I don't even know what the decibel is on this one, but I know it's really good. And the Menace is great. Farview is great. It's a little funky looking. I don't really know why they do a right and a left. It's neat as an option, I suppose, but most of us, if you're righty, you're righty. If you're lefty, you're lefty, and I don't really see the need. But yeah, this has been a great antenna. I bought 2 of these. Black Hawk inherited one. I have one. So anyway, that's really the gist. Hopefully that helps you just understand things a little bit better if you didn't already. And if you guys have better ideas, please let me know. I would like to hear them, because I don't know everything either. So I just know what I've tried. So until next time, kids. Oh yeah, and I'm going to leave you with some pictures on the end of this of my smoking hot wife, because one of my subscribers is teasing me. He's like, when do we get to see the smoking hot wife? So I'll throw a couple pictures up there. Anyway, keep shining side up, kids. Fly well, and have a great rest of the weekend. Take care.